Breaking the News with the Chris and Andre Show.
Every week we take time to cover the news so that you don't have to. Tired of watching the news? Want to know what Chris and Andre think about all these things without having to dive into it or follow us on social media? Quick Hits, aka Breaking the News, is for you. So without any further ado, let's hit it.
First up, Cam Newton, the gift that keeps on giving. I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. He's an idiot. He goes in front of people and says that women who can't cook and don't know when to be quiet should just let men lead. And if he's got to fight and argue with them about, it's just, I don't know. He's just, I just can't. Everything about that article just pissed me off. Then I watched the video and I'm like, he's such a douchebag and I still don't like him. So Cam, from me to you, just retire, bow out. I think you have like 8 kids. Be a better father.
That's pretty rough. I can't say that you're wrong, though. I'm a guy who has caped up for Cam in the past. I called his 2021 MVP season when he joined the Panthers and had like 3 good plays. Obviously, that was a bit of a misstep. He's still looking for a team, and I don't think that this is going to help him find that team. The NFL has enough problem convincing women that they aren't just cool with like Deshaun Watson out here doing his thing with his thing all over them. So Cam, I gotta side with Andre on this one, man. Like, I think it's better if you just kind of keep all that stuff to yourself.
Yeah, nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares.
It's not a shut up and play football kind of moment. It's just that's an opinion that you probably would have been better kept for like the barbershop as opposed to a podcast.
That's an opinion that you can't have if you have children. And if you do have it, you don't say it in public. I mean, it's not a shut up and play football. It's like, you're a dad, dude. Be a better dad. Next.
So there's a new, not even that new, app that is breaking the Gen Z or the stranglehold that I guess like TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, all of those old people apps have had on Gen Z for a while, called BeReal. So apparently this app was released in 2019. The premise behind the app is that there are no filters, there's no photo editing. You don't have to be creative, you don't have to look pretty. It just gives you a notification, a random time during the day, and you have 2 minutes within the time of that notification to take a picture using both the front and back facing cams on your phone. So people see where you are and what you're doing. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Right?
That's very dangerous.
I mean, you don't have to do it, obviously, but the idea is to be real so that we're stopped with like all of these fake posts on Instagram of, oh, I'm flying in wherever. And, you know, it's really that they're like sitting with a toilet bowl next to their face or something.
It seems like consistent fact checking. It's like, that's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically where we're at now. The internet has gotten so bad we have to have people prove that they really are doing the things that they're doing. So,
Social media. I quit you a long time ago, but I can't wait to see what happens here. A lot of people thought TikTok wasn't going to be a thing, but ByteDance had already done all the homework in China, and we'll see what happens with BeReal. Next, they're robbing me. So there used to be a thing when the internet stock trading became a thing where you had this plethora of penny and day traders just come out of the woodworks. Well, now we're starting to get the complaints about Robinhood. The big complaint I have with Robinhood is actually they're more of a clearinghouse and they're more of a middleman of a middleman. So now users are complaining that they're not being able to get their stocks executed. A lot of small details, and I'm sorry, I'm just in a mood today. Some things are just stupid, and I just think
Indeed.
I've never been a fan of Robinhood. Just like I've never been a fan of like people that think that they can make money on the stock market, because ironically, for the last 70 years, only 10% of the stock market has made money on the stock market. So everybody else, we're getting played. Put your money somewhere else, like real estate. That's not the bag. EFTs aren't the bag. Bitcoin's not the bag. And I'm just a bitter old man today.
To clarify that comment that you had, or just to follow up on that, you were talking about 10% of the market has made money. I was hearing something the other day that was talking about, and maybe this was at the baby shower, but 10% of the stock market is owned by 90% or no, 90% of the stock market is owned by the same 10% of people, essentially, or like families, for the last, I don't know, 50, 60 years or something
50,
like
60
that.
years, yeah. So that just kind of, yeah, that's how grumpy I am today. I was the one that said that. So at any rate, it's just really frustrating. It's like, guys, you got it. There are better ways to make money. And it's not even about becoming wealthy. It's about lowering your expenses. And that's like, I think
within
that,
your means.
yeah. I mean, but your means can be better if you lower your expenses all the way around. But it's
Have
frustrating.
a budget. Stick to it.
Yeah. It's frustrating to hear people getting so ripped off by the myth, which is the stock market. But anyway, next.
Oh, New York, New York. Andre's favorite town. In the news again, but not for right reasons. The lieutenant governor, let me get his name, Benjamin, just call him Benjamin, got caught stealing some Benjamins, apparently. Not really like stealing, but being handed a bunch of Benjamins and then funneling some other Benjamins to the guy that handed him Benjamins illegally. So he's going to jail, right? Yeah, well, he's been arrested.
He's been
so
arrested.
It's a campaign finance bribery scheme, basically, where they've discovered this guy that was handing him money, I guess, got arrested previously and flipped.
Snitched.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's what you do when you get caught, unless you don't want stitches, right? Snitches get stitches. But yeah, I'll be curious to kind of see where this all ends up. They're already claiming that, like, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, had no idea when she named this guy. I find that a little hard to believe, that you wouldn't do a little bit better job kind of researching and investigating what was going on there, but who knows?
I think the governor knew. I think that she was just probably, hedging her bets that it was an empty case. But the AG pinned it. Then you have to think about the fact that he was trying to funnel that money through Harlem, and Harlem is like the poster child of gentrification right now.
Yep.
And you're bound to get exposed. So, Democrats, what the is wrong with you? Next, one of my favorite programs to use is Plex, and I talk about Plex a lot here on the podcast. Well, guess what they won't be doing anymore? Podcast. I remember a few years ago when, like, I don't know what happened, but I found out that I could put my podcast on Plex. I was so happy. Well, they're going to stop doing that because there's other things out there to do podcasts. If you follow the user groups and basically, this is what the sentiment is. They did a crappy job of execution, and the best way to, not have to fix the bugs is just to drop that part of the feature, right? I don't disagree, but for me, podcasts work great, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. I just don't understand the use case of heavy podcast listeners. Subscribe, play, mark play. That's pretty much it.
What else do you need, right?
I don't know, but I will miss the fact that I can't listen to podcasts from my office television and continue it in the rest of my house. So I'm kind of sad about that.
Such a hard life.
You
just need to get yourself a Roku, man.
I do. That's
well, then you should be fine. They got podcasting apps on there.
But I switched to Google Podcasts because I didn't want to download another app.
No, I understand. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a heavy podcast listener. I have been at times in the past. I love the Bomani Jones, Right Time with Bomani Jones podcast. I have enjoying less the Pick Six podcast that I used to be infatuated with. The more I listen to it, the more I find the three hosts to be pretty damn annoying. I don't know if
we share the same thing, don't we?
What's that? That we're pretty damn
There's
annoying?
people annoyed with us.
That's fair.
I don't know. It's just the more I listen to it, the more I notice little things where I'm like, man, we do a better job than that. No offense, guys. It's really like it's the main host who can't seem to stay on track. He's always, even when I listen to him on other like radio shows and stuff like that, he's always and I'm just like, all right, I'm like, dude, you gotta chill. I don't know if he got into coke recently, like he's been hanging out with the Republicans too much, or what. But Yeah.
Those go hand in hand, don't they?
I will say it's a little interesting to me that Plex drops podcasts right around the same time that they add this new streaming recommendation thing. So I don't know if like that played a role in it, if they were like, we'd rather focus our efforts here. It's probably more coincidental than anything. I haven't opted into that streaming recommendations thing yet, but
I have, and it's actually not, it's not completely baked, so you have to, like, they don't have a way to navigate to the app that you have it in, and it's kind of cumbersome to add things to your watch list. So my first impression of that is, okay, I'll wait till it's completely baked, but I think it'll be, like, they've done a really good job overall as a platform, so I'm not gonna, jump ship.
yeah.
And they still have the Plex Amp app, which is for the music, so I'm kind of confused on why would they drop it from Plex to the main app, but keep music in Plex Amp. Anyway, next.
This next one, the last one was near and dear to Andre's heart. This next one is near and dear to my heart. As a former Starbucks barista, I think we talked about it on this podcast, like Howard Schultz came back as CEO, stepped out of the boardroom to come back and like right the ship of this company. He talked about investing in people. They canceled a $20 billion stock buyback, and now he is doing everything within his power to squash the Starbucks unions under his little thumb. This story in particular came from WRAL in Raleigh, where a Raleigh union leader was supposedly fired over her participation in attempts to organize a union there. At least that's what they claim. Starbucks is claiming that she violated policy and intentionally broke the washing sink in the back. I will say, as somebody that worked at Starbucks, I stood on that thing repeatedly. Like, there's no way that you could just accidentally, or even to intentionally break that thing. That thing had to have been poorly installed and fall. Like, it almost broke her feet, from what I understand, because it was full of water when it fell. So, Schultze, you really got to get your shit together, man, or you're gonna end up on another edition of Who Sucks More CEO edition. Like,
I think I'm calling that to be the Who Sucks More because I had such high hopes. I'm not pro or anti-union. I think you should just be a good employer. And the pitch that he gave during his, as he said he's going to come back as the interim CEO, is not what he's doing. And I'm super disappointed. He's going to make the list of who sucks more. I don't know who to put him up against, but I'm not
we'll
buying
find
it.
somebody.
There's plenty of people out there nowadays.
I mean, better.com. They just can't stay out of the news, so
Yeah.
who knows? Anyway, next. We've been talking about recession and where our money goes for a long time on the Chris and Andre show, and now we have experts agreeing with us. An economist in North Carolina he's actually well respected. You can find the link down at the bottom of this episode. He's calling for the end of the year, and I think that he's probably not wrong, because I think the housing bubble is going to probably burst by spring of next year. So we'll start to see all these different layers of the onion go away, and it's going to be pretty ugly. It's a myth when people are talking about gas prices, because as conflated as they were, they've dropped down to reasonable prices or somewhat normal, and that's not the real scope of it. I think it's going to be an epic shit show. The only good thing that we have is that we're not fighting terrible unemployment. So, yeah.
Yet.
Nobody needs a job. They're all working for themselves or on Etsy.
Right?
Yeah.
All on
Not this
OnlyFans.
week, though, because they're all striking. That's it, guys. That's it for Quick Hits. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you got your fill of the news this week. If there's a story that you'd like us to cover next week, send it to us at comments@chrisandandreshow.com. I am Chris.
And I'm Andre.
And that's Fireside Joe.
I'm that guy.
He's this guy just hanging out, vaping the shit out of his room over here.
Right?
Thank God. All right.
Yeah.
They decriminalized cannabis.
We'll talk to you next time.